Okay, good afternoon. Am I audible? Is my voice is audible? Are you able to see the screen? Okay, so good. So once again, good afternoon all. This is the video lecture on Python Django full stack web development. So in today's class, we are going to see something concept called labels. So in the previous class, we have gone with the labels without the for parameter. Okay, so for a label, there is a for parameter. So in the previous section or previous video, we have gone with a label without the for. So in today's class, we shall see so label with a for attribute. Okay, so let's go with the programming demo. So as I've already told, the use of the label tag will allow you to add labels in front of input. Okay, so as you are currently creating the forms, you are adding labels in front of the input. Okay, so that you have added the label tag in yesterday video only. So today we shall see the label tag with for attribute. Okay, so let's go to the example part. So I will be minimizing and opening that particular Atom text editor. So in Atom text editor, I have taken forms is there. So go with a form part. Okay. So inside the form part, now we have in a yesterday's class, this was the yesterday class. Okay. So in a yesterday class, we have taken only the label. Okay. But when you give label, actually you'll be getting for. Okay. So that means when you are going to use label, so label will be used when you give the input. So what input it should take? So this is the input is email. So if you are giving the input as email, so what the label should be? Enter email. So this comes left part and this comes right part. So similarly, what is the next input type? It is password. So if you entering the password, so on what will be the label? Label we have given it as enter password. Okay, so that is the, so now when you go with a filing saving, so go for file and click save. So next to go for edit and go for copy path. So now you run that particular thing on the web page. Okay, so here I am minimizing and I am running that particular file. Okay, so when you click the file here, now it is showing. So enter email, so it will go take something, enter password, it will take something and give the login. So now that we have seen the label without the for attribute, understand carefully, we have a label will come with one attribute called for, F-O-R for. So now we have given the label without the for in the previous example. Okay, so now we are going to give, so you are going to, this is the login page. Now you are going to create the same thing, but you are giving the label, you take the format. So here you can take label. If you type for, so you will get for label. So click here. So for you take, so what you give something called user email. So for this can be any identifier or any name what the user can give. So there is no condition to give anything. So for what is the attribute we have taken? It is the email. So I have taken it as email, user email. So it should be user defined value. So that's why you take label for is equal to user email. So now you give enter email. Okay, so put it in the next line and close the label here only. Okay, so in this, now I have given label with a for attribute. So for stands for some user value. So I think as I am entering the value email here. So here I have taken something identifier called user email. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. Okay, so that's why you can give user email, but don't give word email because email stands for one of the input type. So in order to make understand, way you are going to give it as user email, and once you enter email, so kindly close, so give it as slash label. Okay, so label will end here. So in the previous class, label was ending at the input type. So after the input type, the label was ending, but for now we are going to take it here only. We are going to end that particular label. Okay, so next comes input type, same thing. So nothing, no change on the input type. Just what is the new attribute you can add? So here you have added for user email. So now in this input, you take ID. Okay, so ID is equal to, you type that particular name. So user email. Okay, so user email. So remaining everything remains same. Okay, so label only for attribute if you are using. So for that you specify user email and end the label here only. Okay, so similarly for input, you should add ID is equal to user email. What is user email? It is an identifier. That's why you have taken it as ID. ID stands for identifier. Understood? So similarly, now this is for user email you have finished. So now come for the label part for password. So for that you had for will come for label, click here. So here you give something called user pass. So it is the user password. So I have taken this variable. Okay, so label, I'm going to take for, sorry, for. So for you give it as user pass. Okay, so user pass. Next you go for enter password here and kindly close the label here only. So that is the only difference we have. So you will be closing label here. If you didn't use for, so you will be closing after the input. Okay, so if you are using for, you will end the label here only. If you are not using for, you should end the label here. That is the only difference. So come for the input. So input, what you will take? Input ID. So ID is equal to, here you type that particular name. So user pass. Okay. So user pass, email you have given, type password you have given. So everything is run. So that is the only part. Now you run the code. So go for file, save the content, go for edit, copy the path and go for browser and run. There will be no change in any of the form. Okay, but there will be no change. So when you type here, so I will type aa@gmail.com and password you give 12345 and click on login. So it is as I have been given the action. So when you click login, get Facebook page. So when you click login, get Facebook page. So that's why when you click on the login, so here I will be giving the values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you click, go with a Facebook page. Okay. So that is the concept of labor with for. So here you can take forms demo. Okay. So login page using label -for. So label with for, this is the program code. Understood? So without the for also we can create the label. Using the for also you can create the label. So this is up to using forms with labels. Okay, understood? Have you understood? Okay, so next you come for the next part. So go for that particular PDF. So next you make the heading form selections. So what is the concept? Form selections. So it is under HTML level 2. So form selections, let's see what are all the other things. So let's continue exploring the variety of the input methods for forms, such as first one radio button, second drop down menu, third text area input. So these are the three concepts what we get. So which are the three concepts? So three concepts are, first one is radio button, second one drop down menus, third text area input. So if you complete these three, let's get started with all these three types. Okay. So come for the radio button. So radio button is one of the input type. Okay. So radio button is one of the input type you are having. So which are the various input types? Is anybody in the can reply in the chat box? Which are the various input types? Which are the input types? Input type is equal to what you give inside input types. Yes. Which are the input types we have gone here? So here you can see type input type is equal to email. What is next? Input type is equal to password. Next input type is equal to submit. So these are the three things what we have seen. So email, password, and submit are the input types. So similarly, now we have the new input type, and that input type is radio. Okay, so radio button. So that we shall see. The first concept is radio button. So radio button will be created using input tag. Okay, so now you come for the drop down menu. So drop down menu means, so if you want to select any one from a list of items, so like country, inside the country you will get A, starting with A, Australia, Afghanistan, Australia, America, like that. So many countries will be there, starting from A, ending with Z. So all this can be placed using drop down menu. Okay. So next you go with the third part, that is text area input. So these are the form selection methods. So which are the form selections? One is radio button, second drop down menu, third text area input. Okay, so that is up to, now we shall go with a demo of these three things. Okay, so demo of radio button, drop down, and text area. So finally you go with a level 2 assessment. Okay, so now you jump on to Autumn text editor. Okay, so go for file, choose new file. So if on below, you'll be getting it as plain text, click on that. So in that you go with a HTML. So when click the HTML tree sitter, so you'll be getting called HTML here. Now go for file, go for save. Okay. So under save, you have to go create a folder called HTML level 2. So under that, you give form selector. So as you consider the concept form selectors.html. So give this particular name, form selectors.html, save. So now you are getting something called form selectors here. So understanding. So how to create the particular page. So close each and everything. Form selector you have taken. So initially go with a HT. So HT stands for HTML. So when you type HTML, you will be getting the tree sitter. So inside that you give something called title. You take it as form selectors. So you'll be giving like form selectors. Next you come for the body part. 1 minute. So what will be the title? Title I am going to give it as form selectors. So that means that will come as the title of the web page. Okay. So now I am going for the demo. Okay. So form selectors. So inside that you take, that will be the title. So come for the body part. So inside the body part, you go for the heading. So H1 you take. So what you are going to do? So now have to go with implementation of radio buttons as well as drop down menu. Okay, so how you are going to do that? Now we shall go take an example of hotel feedback form. Okay, so what is the heading? So we are performing a feedback form. So take it as feedback form. That will be the content we are going to give. So after the feedback form, now you go with the next. Okay. So radio button you have seen. Your answer will be in the terms of yes. Are you from India? Or are you from India? Yes. Or it will be no. Okay. So question I will be giving something called H2. So here you can take it as are you from inside India or outside India. Okay. So are you from? I will be answering because I am on a feedback form. Are you from inside India or outside India? So output will be in the form of yes or no. If I am a inside Indian, answer will be yes. If I am outside Indian, answer will be no. Okay. So for that, so how you are going to create? So as I told, so radio button is one of the input type. So input will come inside label. Okay. So before feedback form, now you go with a form. So take the form here. So remove each and everything. So this part may be required later, that we shall see. Okay. So now you come for the form part. So inside the form, you create this particular thing. So take this H2 and put it in form. Cut it here and paste it here. So everything. So are you from inside India? Now you will be creating label. Okay. So label for. Okay. So label for. So now there are two attributes. One is inside India. The other one is outside India. So inside India, you take it as in Ind. Okay. So I will be taking something called in Ind. Okay, so in Ind will represent inside India. So I will be taking inside Ind as one of the parameter and label will end here. So now you take input. So input. So when you type input, first you will be getting start with ID. So take ID. So ID is equal to in Ind. Okay, so give it in small, ININD, in int. So type, so in int, so come for the type and take it as radio, RADIO, radio of input. So under name, you don't give anything. Are you inside India or outside India? So name and value, we don't give anything else. That we shall see later. So similarly, that is up to inside India. Similarly, create a label for outside India. So label for. So here I will be taking it as out int. Okay. So out int, and here you take outside India. So come for the label. Next you take input. So come for the ID part. So take ID. So ID, you take this one. ID is equal to what you give, out int. Sorry, you should give it in small, OUTIND. Okay, out int. So type is equal to what you should give. So type you give it as radio. Okay, so radio of input. So click on that, name and value. This part is finished. Okay, so now you save this particular form. So Control S, go for edit, copy path, go for browser. Now you click that particular paste. So run this. So here it is showing feedback form. So inside that you are taking, are you from inside India or outside India? So inside India you click. So this is the radio button. Okay. So inside int, or you can click outside int. So now one of the button should be clicked here, but it should not take for both. So if that is the case, so click, you see it should take either inside India or it should take for outside India. But here we have given it is taking for both. So if I click on outside, inside should go. If I click on inside, outside should go. So for that, so here you give the name as same. Okay. So name, you can give anything, any variable name. So name should be given here. So both the variables should be same name. So come for here, click on that. Now you see inside int. So when you click outside, sorry. So you give it as name is equal to lock. So lock will take you to that particular name. You should give it here. Okay. So save, go for file and save the contents and run your page. So when you go for inside int, so here it should change. So for that, you have to go with the same name. So when you give inside int, outside will go. If you click on outside int, inside int will go. Okay. So this is the name you should give, then only you can have this function. Okay. So this is the demo of radio button. Okay. So what you have taken, the feedback form, demo of radio button. So here you can take demo of radio button. So now after the radio button, what is the next thing? So if you want to have the clear idea, so you can have comment here. So how to give the comments? So take Mac. So you can take it as radio button demo. So this is the demo of the radio button demo. Okay. So this is up to radio button. So after that radio button, what is the next one you are having? So after the radio button, next one is drop down. Okay. So for that you are taking same tag you take. So this one we are using for comment purpose. Okay. So take it as drop down menu. Okay. So to create drop down menu, this is a comment. Okay. So it will tell this is the code for radio button and this is the code for drop down menu. So how to create a drop down menu? Understood. So creating the drop down menu, we use a keyword tag called select. Okay. So what is the tag you create? as we have taken feedback form. So feedback form from a particular college or particular hotel. So if you're creating a feedback form, there you can go with how was the feedback. So feedback was good, feedback is bad, feedback is average, like that. Okay. So for that, we are going to take something called H3. So as I have taken H1 is here, H2 is there, H3 you take. So under H3, you give how was service. How was the service? Okay. So how was the service? Now inside that you give it as select. So select, you are getting class and name. So remove this particular class and go for name. So how was the service? So as you take hotel feedback, so it will be in terms of rating. So service to 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. So it will be in terms of stars. Okay. So name, you take it as stars. You can give whatever you want. Okay. So name is equal to stars. Inside that you give option. So that means the value. So here you can get, so inside the value, you give something called grade. And here you give the value called 3. That means 3-star. If you give 3, it is great. So similarly, take the next one, option. So inside the value, you give it okay. Okay. So okay will have the option 2. Okay. So next, similarly, you take option. So come for the value part. So under value, you give it as bad. So bad will be option number 3. Sorry, 1. Okay. So this is up to selection. So now you save this particular content and run this particular page. So now you are getting how was the service. So that we have given under H3. So how many values you are getting? 3, 2, 1. So here you can see 3 is there, 2 is there, 1 is there. You give 2. Okay. So when you give this 2, there should be a submit button. So you have to go with a submit button here. So after the select, now you come for the input. So directly take input. So under input, you give it as submit. So take submit, and under the value, you give what you can give. You can give submit, or you can give whatever you want. Submit feedback. Okay. So you'll be taking something called submit feedback. Okay. So kindly save this thing and run it in this particular page. So 3, 2, 1. So click submit feedback. It will be going to some other page. Okay. So that page I have not given anything here. Action, it will go. So I will be giving something called website. Okay. So website, you'll be taking http://www.google.com. So get this page. So what is the method you take? So you can take it as get. Get means get this particular web page. Okay. So save the content, go for this, run. So inside India, how was the service to submit feedback? So submit feedback is going to take you to Google page. Okay. So this is the demo of the drop down menu. Okay. So once you finish with the drop down menu, now you come for the last part. So after the drop down menu, what is the last part you have is the text input area. So now you come for H4. So H4, you take something, any other feedback. You'll be taking it as, so any other feedback. So in that you take it text area. Okay. TEXTAREA. So text area. So it is taking name, text area, name is equal to something you have to give. So you take it as my text, and rows you give, columns you give, text area you give. So after that, now you put the submit. Okay, so Control X, here Control V. So after the text, so now you give submit. So now save this particular program, go for file, save and run. Okay. So when you run this particular, now you are getting any other feedback with the text box. Okay. So text box, it is given here. So you can see you are getting here. So after that, you can have a break. Break means breaker. So now you can see form selectors you are getting. Okay, yeah, I think you should get outside the form this particular submit button. Okay, so take the entire things. So don't give break also. And save the control S, go for the page and refresh. So you are getting like this. So are you inside yes? How was the thing? To any other feedback? So you can give nice response from portal. So here you can type anything else. So submit feedback. If you submit, it will take you to Google page as you have given http google.com here. Okay. So that will end. So this one you can take it. So this is text area input. Okay. So text area input, you can take the demo like this. Understood? So this is up to form selectors. So which are the three concepts? First one is radio button. Second one is drop down menu. Third one is text area. So this, if you go through these three, it will be more well and good. Understood? So this is up to form selectors part, and it will complete. So this will also complete HTML level 2. Okay. So we are going with a HTML part, that is HTML level 2. So this one we have taken. Okay. So have you understood? So if you are not understood, go through my YouTube link and you have to work on that particular thing. So then in the Autumn text editor, you work and then you follow up with this video. So you should get each and everything. Understood? So I hope you have got understood, but you have to work on your laptop. So go through your laptop things and work on that. Okay. So that is up to today's class. So this will completes HTML level 2. Okay. So level 2 is completed. Next, thank you for hearing. So kindly go through the videos, like, share, subscribe for the channel. Meet you in the next class. Thank you.